Hey all, it's Tom. At least I think it is. Last time I looked. We're going through knives, obviously. And got to get some fishing videos in right soon. So, what I got to show you today, hang on. You know, the road's 300 yards that way. I live in the city, or suburbs of the city anyway. And I had less noise in my house in the country with people go by without exhaust systems. So anyway, the knife I'm going to show you today, great knife. Been used for, what, 40, that'd be 60, 80 some years. That's when it first came out. Not this particular knife, but them types of knives. Ready? Ta-da! This is the Colonial Hunter. Now, it's got a 5-inch carbon palladium blade. That means it's coated with palladium, which is a form of chrome. So, now these knives are made back, I've heard Depression years. Harley. I've heard Depression years, but I haven't got any confirmation on that. But my dad said he remembers them in the 40s. So these knives started back in the 40s. It was Imperial and Colonial made these types of knives, and also, what's the name of that? I don't remember the other one, but it was Imperial and Colonial. I remember that. They made a bunch of other knives, but I mean, this is the hunter knife that they made. Now, this is usually, your hardware store. I think they retail for $2.95 then or $3.95. So this is something you would see on like a kid's belt or somebody who just needs a knife but really didn't have the money at the time. Wasn't like there was a big money boom after World War II. So it's got the 5-inch carbon palladium blade. It's got a really thin guard, but it works. I mean, you don't need something thick to stop your hand from sliding, One thing I don't like on them is the plastic scales. Now, these came in this color here, and they all sort of had this elk or caribou. Had a caribou or an elk on it. There was black, there was brown, there was white ones, there was stag-colored ones. They're held in by 2 pins, and this is kind of a rat tail back to that last pin. Now, they're real thin. They're less than 1/8 of an inch. So they're real thin blades. Now, the sheaths on these blades were ambidextrous. This is kind of leather. But they were, a very thin leather, but they worked. You see the rivets? That's to stop the knife from going through the stitches at them certain points. But they were ambidextrous. They had just these little belt loop cuts, and one retention strap. It was a hunting knife. Now, the odd part about this hunting knife is that this is a flat ground. This is flat ground. Sharp as a razor. But flat ground knife back in them days. Okay? As you can see, it's got a mirror polish on it. There I am, and you are, and it is 3D. So anyway, they fit perfect in your hand. It's only got a 4-inch handle, but it's contoured. There's no slippage. There's no hot spots because the handles were thin. People back then knew how to build a hunting knife. It's good this way for, skinning. It's good this way for taking the hides off. It's good to choke up on. Considering that it is an 1/8 inch thick, it is razor sharp. So, let me put you on pause, see if I can get you set up here. And we'll see, I'm not going to throw it or anything like that, but we'll see what I can do for you. So here we go. So you're out in the woods, right? You get lost, you're hunting, you need a fire. So make your feather sticks quick order. Because of that thin blade. I like thin bladed knives for light use. Okay, you got your kindling. Need to get some wood. Now, if you notice, I'm not beating it with anything. I'm using my hand to tap it down through the wood. Why? Because this is my form of batoning when I was a kid. This is what your dad taught you how to do. You don't get a piece of wood and club it to death. You get a piece of wood and you put your knife under like that, and you tap it with your hand, and you break your wood down. So, I don't know if you can see it right about where my finger is. See that kind of like missing stuff right there? Maybe. The palladium is coming off the carbon right there, and you can see where it's kind of, chipped off. It's weird. But these were the hunting knives all through the 60s, even up into the 70s. And I do have friends that still carry these. Matter of fact, my brother's still carrying one. He has the tan-handled one. This one I'm going to use this year along with the Cattaraugus. Cattaraugus, something like that. Cattaraugus and that Marbles safety knife and stuff. Every trip I intend to take at least one knife. But for fishing, now this has got that really thin blade. See how thin that is? For fishing, this is great. It slides right up along the meat and the skin to fillet them. Holds an edge like you wouldn't believe. So yeah, this is the Colonial. Like I said, Imperial made some too. There's another company out there that escapes my brain right now. Well, look at them curls. Tell me if a ferro rod wouldn't chop out them curls. Of course, it's not made to strike a ferro rod either. If we look at some of the, pardon the dummy, he likes barking at anything. Now this is paracord. Regular 557. No problem. You can see here on the stump on a push cut. Right through it. Cut. Boom. And it is clean. So this is going to fall into the Woodslore knives. These things are it's an antique. Antiquated, I guess. They really are. They're, but hey, you just seen what it did, and for light use and a hunting knife, I mean, and even if you did get lost, you could still make feather sticks, reduce your wood down, clean your game, do whatever you need. It's a hunting knife. And that's the point of knives. People don't realize that, 40 years ago, maybe? Yeah, 40 years ago. Even 30 years ago. People didn't really have bush crafting knives. They didn't really have survival knives. Their survival knife craze started in the 80s. What they had is these. They did their camping with them. They did their hunting with them. They did their bushcrafting. They did their woodworking. They did everything with these knives. With this type of knife, anyway. That's something people don't really understand. Is that this whole craze with the bushcraft survival stuff, it started in the 80s. But I do have an E.G. Waterman, you find on my videos here, that was listed in the catalog as a survival knife. So in 1938, They were putting out survival knives. And then E.J. Waterman went to World War II. A lot of guys brought them back for hunting knives. Razor sharp. You notice what I just did there, right? I took my neck knife out, used the back of my neck knife to hone the blade on this knife. And it is razor sharp now. So, little history, little rant, you know. The Colonial, the Imperial. Buy yourself one. They're, you know, sometimes you can pick them up under $20. Buy yourself one. Give it a try. Just take it out in the backyard, playing around fishing and, you know, minor hunting squirrels or whatever. You'd be surprised what these little knives can do for you. So this is Tom. Of course, it is me. I want to thank you for your time and your patience. I love them. See that? What kind of condition this knife's in? I got this knife for $2. No, it was $1 out of that deal that I got. Then I went looking them up, and they run anywhere, like I said, from $12 on up. So, this is Tom. Thank you for your time and your patience. If you like the video, hit the like button, and we will see. Don't forget to share it out. We will see you guys on the next one.